Let's bring back Senator Ron Johnson, who serves on the Committee of Jurisdiction dealing with foreign affairs. Ron, these secret letters to the Iranians, your reaction when you heard that news?
Well, the biggest problem President Obama has in conducting foreign policy is just the weakness that he's demonstrated. And, by capitulating to the Iranians right out of the blocks when they began these negotiations, by lessening sanctions, by basically implicitly agreeing that they can enrich uranium, we lost those negotiations right out of the blocks, and I don't see how you repair that. And now you add to that the situation in Syria with ISIS spilling over the border into Iraq. Now he's reaching out to the Iranians to be partners. The biggest state sponsor of terrorism around the world. We're in such desperate straits from a standpoint of foreign policy that's being conducted by this administration, a policy of withdrawal, of weakness, that now he's having to reach out to the Iranians. It's a pretty sad day for American foreign policy.
And it sets up a situation, even within the White House, of others speaking for the president, coming out trying to explain it. That was the situation that Josh Earnest found himself in the press briefing. Let's take a listen to what went on there at the White House yesterday.
The United States will not cooperate militarily with Iran in that effort. We won't share intelligence with them. But their interest in this outcome is something that's been widely commented upon, and something that on a couple of occasions has been discussed on the sidelines of other conversations.
So you hear Josh Earnest there. It seems to me as if he's trying to dance around the issue, but there's no dancing around this, is there, Ron?
No, there isn't. Again, the administration is displaying total weakness. And, one change you're going to see with the Republicans taking majority of the Senate will actually allow votes on strengthening sanctions against Iran, and the American people will see that there's a great deal of bipartisan support for stronger sanctions against Iran. There's a lot of bipartisan, I would say, disappointment in the way President Obama and Secretary Kerry are handling these negotiations with Iran.
Ron, the New York Times is reporting that more than 600 U.S. service members told military medical staff they believe they were exposed to chemical warfare agents in Iraq after the U.S.-led invasion in 2003. Have you heard about this from any of your constituents, or were you made aware of this?
All I've read is the news reports of it. I have not talked to any constituent in Wisconsin that is one of that could potentially be one of these people that are exposed. It's very puzzling to me. I do not understand why the Bush administration didn't reveal that, didn't make that public. It just makes no sense to me. I'm looking for an explanation.
And of course, as you move into a committee chairmanship in the new Republican-controlled Senate in the next Congress, you are in position to get some of those answers in terms of government oversight, are you not?
Yeah, the oversight responsibility of this committee, the Homeland Security and Government Affairs, is a very serious responsibility. And, we will certainly work in conjunction with House committees, with Chairman McCall. I think Jim Jordan is slated to take over for Chairman Issa. And so we'll work in very close concert with House committees as well as other Senate committees in terms of what is the best committee jurisdiction to hold the types of hearings, to highlight the issues, to provide the American people the truth, to define problems so we can actually work toward real solutions.
Ron, before you and I part company, we've got about a minute left. And yesterday, we heard reports that a leading bomb maker with the Khorasan group was killed in Syria. If that in fact came to pass, obviously that's very important to our military alliance against ISIS and just what's going on. What have you heard about that? Can you add anything to those reports?
The only thing I can add is what I have read. So it's certainly a good sign, but it's also something that people really need to consider. Here's a young Frenchman that is, a bomb maker that has joined the Islamic terrorists, and that's why ISIS represents a threat to the West and to America. They are successfully recruiting on the internet, and every time let's put it this way, ISIS wins simply by not losing. And so until we get in a position where we are actually degrading ISIS, where they are starting to look to the rest of the world as losers, as long as they're looking like winners, they're going to continue to be able to successfully recruit people like this young French bomber, and we're going to continue to have to deal with that, and America and the West remains threatened.
And we will have to leave it right there. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, our thanks as always, and America's Forum continues.